Just wanted to give you a quick update. Got the crank in, plastic gauged it, and I'm kind of disappointed. I bought a new, I think it's a Haynes book for the 07 up, and it doesn't have near as much information in it as the older Gen 3 stuff. I was kind of disappointed. It gave me in play on the crank, it gave me rod bearing journal clearance, but it did not give me main journal clearance. It said get a hold of machine shop, so that's kind of useless to me. But the torque specs are exactly the same as the Gen 3s. I mean, as far as the torque and the you know, the extra torque to yield garbage, you know, extra stuff. So I just went ahead and took it upon that the Gen 3 stuff still applies, at least on that stuff, because I looked all through the book. They have very little information on that. They got the torque sequence and stuff, but they don't have a lot of the clearances that they don't have specifically the crank. Maybe I better say that. So I looked at the other stuff and it was exactly the same from Gen 3 to Gen 4, like the rods and stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and just say that, and they were all good. They were all between 0015 and 0020. So everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. But the reason I brought you back for this, when I told you I would probably bring you back when I put number 1, I just grabbed a new ring, put it down in number 1 hole, slid it down there about halfway, and if you recall, I told you either part of this video or last video that it was 25 to 26 thousandths with the number 1 ring, top ring out and on, you know, in here. And believe it or not, they're allowed. Trying to think of what it said it was allowed, like 0.03 something, but you were allowed a lot less, and this is actually almost too tight, to be honest with you. So I'm going to get the Hastings rings out. This is those small that were laying there, but I stuck number 1 down there, and I can get a 10 thousandths in there if I, you know, a 0.010. I can get it in there if I kind of, you know, I mean, I don't have to force it, but it doesn't go in there, you know. It's maybe a little bit. And let me go one more size up, just to make sure. Now they don't have an 11, so let me try a 12. Yeah, I can get it barely. I can get 12 halfway across. So let's call it 11 thousandths. If I remember looking at the book, it actually, I have to look at that to see. Walk past here and take a look. I looked at that a little bit ago. Okay. Piston ring to groove clearance. That's not what I'm after. I'll go off of top ring compression. Now mind you, this is they got 99 to 2001, and then 2002 later, and they're going for 0016 to 0034. Now, I don't know if that's what I'm looking at, because this says piston ring to groove clearance. That's not what I'm after. Hang on a minute. Aha! I was looking in the wrong place. All right. Piston ring end gap. Now I found it. That's V6. All right, V8 engine. 2003 and later. I'm just going to, like I said, go off at it. It was 009 to 017, and I'm at 011. You know what? So sorry to walk in front of the camera. So it's that's much better. So when I was getting the 20s, I was looking at the wrong. I don't know what I was looking at before. Maybe I didn't even look it up, but I knew it was too much, obviously, because I didn't have as much compression in that cylinder. And that also shows me number 3 only had 155 hot. So I would rather see 175, you know, 165, 175. I'm not saying that 155 is bad. For some engines that's good. And let me kick the camera too. But in this case, at 20, I think I said I could get a 26 thousandths in there. It was tight, but I could get it in. That's way too much. So that was 0.026, and they're calling a maximum of 0.17, and that's a maximum. So it was obviously way out. And then when I put the other ring in, it was still too much at point zero. Excuse me, 020. My goodness, I went in a little bit ago. Had one of the Schwann's, what do they call it? It's a sausage egg gut bomb surprise or whatever that is. Anyway, so that goes to show though that I've still got good. That the block was not wore out. So anybody who was thinking that I was kind of doing this without taking the block down and having it machined, I was pretty confident that that the block was still good. Just measuring the inside of the bore compared to the other cylinders, I knew it was. I checked them all. They're all really close to each other, and so it had actually ate the rings. And so that's actually good to know for somebody who's running into this that may have had the similar issue where the where the injector hung open and it washed that cylinder out. If you catch it fast enough before the gasoline gets in the crankcase and ruins everything else, like this one sort of did, this one probably would have still ran all right if it still, if it caught it early enough. But it had its other issues. Like I said, that cam and lifter was already starting to get ate up. It was actually not going to last a whole lot longer. We were going to end up losing that. It would ate that cylinder and the cam anyway. So it was already, it was already eating the wheel, the roller on the bottom of that lifter. So it wasn't going to last much longer anyway. So anyway, guys, I'm really happy. And here I'll show you that's in there in case anybody was thinking I was just messing around with you. The ring is in there. Right here is where the separation is, and so like I said, it's a lot tighter than the old ring was. So I'm pretty happy with it, and so the crank is now in. I didn't realize this, guys. I did not. I haven't done that in the past, but they're claiming you're supposed to replace those outside bolts on the side of the main caps. I did not know that, and I have not done that. So I think it's only calling for 18 foot-pounds, and I just went ahead and took them up to 20 each. I didn't know that you were supposed to replace them. I just happened to notice it in there that it was saying replace bolts. I knew cylinder head bolts, and they claim they kind of want you to do your balancer bolt too, but in at least that older book for the Gen 3s, it says that there's a torque spec for a new bolt and torque spec for using the old bolt. So I figure if they put it in there as that, you're surely allowed to reuse that. I mean, it's not really holding a lot of, yes, it's holding stuff together, but I mean, it's not like it's, on a standard, normally aspirated 300 horse motor, that bolt's pretty, not only did they Loctite in, and I don't know that I'll do that again. I mean, that's a substantial bolt, guys. So I can't imagine that and get tore up, but I don't know. Stranger things have happened, I guess. So anyway, I just want to bring back, show you that. I'm going to pull that ring out. You could go ahead and start putting rings on the pistons. And next video, I'm not sure where I'm going to come back at because you've seen me do this before. But I'm going to go ahead and just start getting some assembly done. See what I can get done tonight, because like I said, tomorrow or late this afternoon, I don't know what I'm going to be able to get to, but I need to get on these heads. Get spark plugs out, start getting them cleaned up, get the seats on them, and try to drill those 2 holes out, or seals, valve stem seals. I guess I better be specific about that. And anyway, then I'm going to go ahead and try to drill those 2 bolt holes out for the exhaust manifolds that are broke. And it's the back one, or the front one? No, it's the back one on both cylinders, I believe. On both sides. I think it's the back cylinder. Anyway, it's real common on these, like I've said in the past. All right, guys, I'm out of here.